Hello, everyone. We're going to get started, so find your seat. And thanks for being here. This is a reading series called Murmurations that features the work of WITS writers who teach creative writing in public schools. Let's give a hand to all of our WITS writers. And I want to thank Common Area Maintenance for hosting us tonight. They're a great art space in the city, and they're accepting donations, so consider donating to CAM. And if you donate monthly, you get a really pretty print every month. Also want to shout out Seattle Gay News, which is sponsoring this series this year. And then I will tell you who I am. I'm Indira Dahlstrom. I'm the Youth Programs Associate, so I do some admin work and behind the scenes to support the Writers in the Schools program. And I've been saying this is my 4th school year, so I'm in my senior year at WITS, and it's been really fun. And I'm your host for tonight. First up, we're going to hear from Corinne Manning. Corinne's debut story collection, We Had No Rules, came out in May 2020 from Arsenal Pulp Press and received starred reviews from Publishers Weekly and Booklist. Tribes magazine said that Corinne was, quote, very good at writing stories that made the reader feel very bad. And Bomb magazine named them, quote, the love child of Monique Wittig and Jeanette Winterson. At each of these readings, we asked people a silly question, and this time we asked, if you could choose to turn your entire body into a mineral, what would you choose? And Corinne said, if I could be transformed into a mineral, I think I'd be a smoky amethyst baby. Let's welcome Corinne.
Thank you. Hi. Good to see you all. When Indira told me I was going to go first, I was like, okay, but it's a downer, so I'm sorry that I'm going to bring us really low to start. And then I can't guarantee that the poets among us will necessarily make us go any higher. But it's nice. It's nice. I'm setting a timer for myself because I feel a little nervous. I got a square on me? How do I fix that? Did that do it, or am I still in, do I still have a square on my face? No, I'm mysterious. Is this good enough? Is this okay? Okay. Could Ollie, would you be my timekeeper at around 8-ish minutes? Wave at me. Okay, thank you. Is that better? Okay, cool. Okay, so I'm going to read part of my memoir. That's always a sad place to be, is in someone's memoir. But this, what I'm going to read is, my book is about desire and longing, but the way I organize the book is around the 3 days of being at my mom's deathbed. So this is and it's part of was this endless feeling. And so I'm reading part of that part. So we're in the, heads up, we're in the realm of the deathbed. The hospice nurse speaks to us again like an oracle, all riddles spilling from his mouth. So are you saying, my sister tries to clarify, that removing the oxygen will speed up her death? We do not know that. It is all time. Why are you suggesting it, I ask. Because at this time it is a means of aiding her breath. But when it's time to die, she will still die if she were on it. Will she be uncomfortable if we take it off? No, she is in a humane place and she isn't suffering. Why are you suggesting we take it off? It is not a suggestion. It is just that some families might decide to at this point because it is not doing anything anymore. We sit with this. I love that. We sit with this. We want this to be over. And he says this won't hurt her, that she won't notice. Okay, we say, turn it off. So you are asking me to turn this off. We all look at each other. We hear him on the phone. The family is requesting the machine be removed. We stand in there while he does it, the oxygen tubes removed from her nose, the sound of the pump silent. Without it, the room enters a new stage of peace. She hated that thing, my sister says. We stand there as if she might die that moment. Her breathing is harsh and long between breaths. I'm up by her head and my sister is on the other side and my brother is at the foot. When her chest rises, it is dramatic, the work of breathing of violence. Why still be alive? It might be beautiful over there, Mom, my brother says. It's okay. Go and see. Go and see. We are going to take really good care of each other, my sister says. We are all here. I run my fingers over her forehead. I'm trying to remember a song that my friend Emmett taught me. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry your worries and all of your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. I sing this verse a few times, my fingers rolling over her forehead. Her breathing slows down even more. The sun is setting outside. The nurse steps out of the room. I turn the previous song into a new one. The world is changing, and I am changing with it. Oh, the world is changing, and I am changing too. Go and see, Mom, my sister says. There is no breathing, and we look at one another. My brother's eyes fill with tears. Her breath rockets back in like a snort. Is this it? Then her breathing becomes somewhat steady again. My siblings and I exchange this other look. Language would call it disappointment, but it is a look that means your relief has been thwarted. You were born on October 26, 1947, to Lydia and Joseph Gallo. You were the eldest. Grandpa created your name by taking the last two letters of Grandma's first name and the first two of her last name. Grandma and Grandpa Natelli lived close by. You had three other sisters. For a little while you joined the convent, and then you left and married Daddy. You had 3 kids with him. You went to college while still having young kids and majored in religion. You went on to get a master's. You taught at St. Rose for 12 years, and you were really good at it. You wrote a thesis about the role of women in the Gospel of Luke. Everything good. Everything an accomplishment. Grandchildren, perseverance, working things out, a good life on paper. My siblings begin adding details too. We laugh a little bit. You really like to be in love, I say. You had a lot of big feelings, my brother says. You often felt so misunderstood, I say. Go and see, my sister says. My brother steps out to cook. Soon we can smell the chicken and tomato sauce. Even in that fetid room. While I'm alone with her, I lean close to her ear. I'm sorry I left out the part of you falling in love in the convent and coming out later in life. I know that was hard for you. I wait and listen. She feels far away, not deep inside of her body, but like her body is alive, but she is somewhere else entirely. Just in case she's in the room with me, I try some more things. I'm sorry that I stopped talking to you. I had to do it so that I could become who I am now. I know this hurt you, and I didn't want it to. And still, I want you to know that you are forgiven, and that you did your best, and I'm doing so well. My sister came back in and gently sat on the bed. I stopped talking. Even though I'm feeling like we are together and naked and a razor blade on the vein of this experience, I don't want to be caught apologizing. My sister crosses over to her and kisses her forehead, begins to cry again. In my head, I try to beam to my mom, wherever she is, that she see how cruelly she treated my sister, that she witnessed the tenderness, and then quickly try to erase my thought to just my sister's tenderness, not the judgment, as if the judgment would cause my mother to hold on. My brother delivers the bowls of Zatamarans rice and chicken and tomato sauce to us. We all sit on the bed and eat it. I'm not sure if this is correct in anyone's culture, to eat around the dying, but it is what we are doing, and it feels like the three of us are the only ones in the world, our own broken country. Mark made us a feast, Mom, my sister says. I eye her rising sternum. The food is spicy and vibrant, and even though we aren't moving much, I feel like I need this food. It is an old desire fulfilled to be this close to my siblings, this free and this equal, and my country is complete. It feels like it will be any moment now. I get Mom's thesis bound in black leather. I read the prologue from it, then choose random sections to read. You're a good writer, my sister says. You're a good scholar, my brother says. The text feels too dense for the moment. I look up at my siblings. This feels like the right thing, my sister says. Maybe something else. Those books you got her she loved. So I go and get Elena Ferrante from the shelf, but the opening is so sad. It always troubles me how mean Lenu is to Leela's son at the moment of her disappearance. I read what feels like too long. I'm not sure this is the right thing. Yeah, my sister says. I didn't realize they were so dark. We need poetry, I say. Mom, I didn't know you were such a good writer, my brother whispers into my mom's ear. My mom doesn't have much poetry on the shelf, a book about motherhood, a collection of Maya Angelou's poems, an anthology about ceremony. I sit on the floor next to my mom's bed, and I feel urgent as I flip through them. The book on motherhood triggers me. She wants us to read it, but I don't want to read anything that I don't believe. I hand the books to my sister to see if she sees anything. I send texts to the poet and 3 other friends asking for poems, explaining that I'm at my mom's deathbed. My sister chooses a poem that is gently about a life's end. I read it and my voice cracks. My phone lights up with links texted from the poet. Joanna Macy translations of Rilke. I read one and my mom's body seems to respond to it. My brother and sister nod. More, I text the poet. They send a different translation and I read that too. Then another poem about the primordial circle, and my sister likes this one. And then a different translation, and we conclude that Joanna Macy's are just so much better. Then another friend starts sending poems. I glance over them first before reading. The poems are coming in as I read one, the little banners obscuring a line sometimes as I scroll. Gerard Manley Hopkins, Over and Over Stitched by Jory Graham, Diving into the Wreck, Wishing Well by Gregory Pardlow. That one is so damn good, my sister says. I hand her my phone so she can look at it. I'm tired of looking at a screen. We are out of poems. Go and see, I say to my mom. I crawl onto the foot of her bed. My sister is next to her. My brother sits in the chair with her hand in his, rubbing it the gentle way that he does. There's just the sound of her absence of breathing, and then the sound of sudden breath, and then the recorded ocean sound, an occasional whimpering from one of us. There's the death rattle. There is our own slow breath as we fall asleep. There is silence, and we all shoot awake. We look at each other. Is it happening? Go and see, my sister says. And then her breath roars again. Jolting awake and dozing, all of us. I wake up with a start. She's still breathing. My sister is asleep alongside my mom's body. My brother is also asleep, still in the chair with his face down on the bed. I look at the clock. It is after midnight. My body is sore. She is breathing evenly. My body hurts all over, and we walk out with our heads low. I run a toothbrush over my teeth, my eyes dry, and my balance off at the sink. My mom's purchased word art backwards in the mirror. There's no place like home. We crawl like cats onto our perches. My sister and I next to each other on the futon. My brother in the recliner. The nurse goes back in, also with a look of resignation. I have the airport feeling, I say. We turn off the lights. Thank you.
Thank you, Corinne. Thanks for taking us there. I think it's good to go to those depths and explore and feel a little bit of healing together. Something I wanted to say is I'm so appreciative of the WITS community, and especially post-election. I've been buoyed by the community that we have and wanted to share. I observed Rachel Kessler teaching a lesson that was, it was like you wake up and it's tomorrow, and the students either went dystopian or utopian with it. And I like that creative writing and teaching can be a place where you can escape when you need to, and you can process and confront with real things when you need to. Excuse me. Okay, now our next reader is Sierra Nelson. Sierra is a poet, lyric essayist, and performance artist. Sierra's books include The Lachrymose Report and collaborative I Take Back the Sponge Cake, and she recently edited Three Hearts, an anthology of cephalopod poetry, with big thanks to World Enough writers. Their poems have appeared in Seattle Metro buses, at the Seattle Aquarium, in sound boxes along Denny Way, with Nordic ruins on lava stones in Iceland, and at the Slovenian Natural History Museum, and anthologies including the Cascadia Field Guide and I Sing the Salmon Home. Welcome, Sierra. Thank you.
Thank you, Indira. Thank you, everyone here and listening. And I felt like I didn't know what to read tonight, what felt like the right thing to read. And my mom sent me this post by novelist and essayist Barbara Kingsolver. You're a fan too. So this is from November 6th. She writes, "Truth and love have been smacked down so many more times in history before today. Truth because it's often inconvenient, and love because it is vulnerable. But truth is like gravity and carbon and the sun behind an eclipse. It's still there. And love stays alive if you tend it like a flame. If you feel crushed by unkindness today, it's a time for grieving, reaching out to loved ones, noticing one bright color somewhere in the day. Remembering what there is to love, starting with the immediate, the place and people we can tend ourselves and make safe. We can't save everything all at once, but it's still worth saving something, because there are so many of us to do it. And we are all still here today, exactly as we were yesterday, like gravity and carbon and the sun behind an eclipse." So I do have color poems, so I was like, okay, I'm just going to start with one bright color of the day. I took part in the Cascadia Poetics Lab postcard poetry fest, so if you've taken part in that or heard of it, but you sign up and you get the names of 31 strangers to you, and then you send them a poem on a postcard, and then you receive them. It was supposed to happen all in the summer. I did begin in the summer, and then it's sort of fallen into the fall. But I'm at the end, and I decided to use all postcards from this Pantone postcard, so I would just pull a color, and then that would be the kind of organizing part of that. Okay, so you'll hear color as the name, and then I'm going to just hold up. I had this fantasy that there'd be like a slideshow or whatever, but I'm just going to hold up like a tiny color in the depths, and we'll see how it all goes. All right, starting with Pantone 175722 Bottle Green. Is there a poem inside every day? Even the boring ones? The boardrooms, the laundry piles, the checklists, the dishes, the appointments to be scheduled. Right now, the sunflowers and a narrow slice of soil between slabs of concrete have managed to grow taller than two bicyclists chatting beside them. Right now, off the pier, a little red octopus is making a home in a discarded glass bottle, their new favorite habitation. Even the moon has managed to adapt her rituals through windows, curtains, blinds, broken glass, and boarded-up slats, between radio towers and cluttered satellites. I'm just saying, the moon is always somewhere, and so are you, touching something, your hands over your eyes. Pantone 144516, Petite 4. If sweetness hasn't arrived, then maybe the problem is the looking. Could a piece of sky be bundled as a delicacy? Today is gray, but I have known a blue that was like a door opening, with a light swing, a vast world. That's what it felt like. My whole heart changed. But life... Look, are you nursing an old blue like a cracked tooth? Have the ants discovered everything and have been carrying away your sweetness crumb by crumb, day by day? Or have you kept it cold and wrapped and half forgotten in your icebox, frost-burned summer and forgotten anniversary blue? Without hope and without bitterness, I am gnashing the rain. Some of them don't have names, so this is just Pantone 9041. I just wanted a little gentleness today. Sound of water falling, rain on the roof of shelter, the healing power of a waterfall, how a heart expands in mist. Today the sun is bright. What's hard going for you, friend? What if you spilled it all to a tree? See what a leaf whispers back. Maybe it seems a little silly, photosynthesizing grief. I'm just saying your breath is worth something to somebody. Skipping ahead to Moon Rock. Pantone 171210. You don't have to go to the moon to be who you want to be or do what you want to do. The moon comes to you, photons through your window, tidal push and pull of your dreams, moving all your fishes around. The Pope keeps a moon rock like a relic among all his worldly hoarded treasures. But what makes it magic is that it once witnessed earthshine, that blue-green glow across vast distances. What makes it ache is that it once knew water too. Your moon-ache is part of who you are. You don't need to abandon it, or fear it, or run away to space. Hold it like the shape of where a moon rock might be. Yes. Thank you. I was adding to my death-defying trapeze act to put all the poems sliding off the page. Pantone 193921, Black Iris. The way a horse will lay down in a field, the cows landed like clouds by barometric pressure, so too am I brought low by this monsoon season, barely able to keep my eyes open suddenly. And how have you accounted for your days, they might ask me. Half-remembered dreams, I'd say. With their whole gaze, animals behold the open, Rilke says. Only our eyes are as though reversed and set like traps around us, keeping us inside. Rilke understood what I am doing. I am doing my good animal work these days. There are stars expecting me to notice them, quadrupedal visions, limpid eyes. Limpiar, black iris, o'erswims the brim. Pantone 193935, Deep Cobalts. I spread out the map of me, less smooth scroll and more awkward, unfolding by creases, longer on the east-west, a handful, a wide wingspan of everything navigated so far, impossible to shove back into a glove box. The colors are deeply saturated, vibrant gem tones by the deep cobalt sea. It's a night map, a nocturne, will glow if you hum. The past, which is our present, is shown in faint chalk outlines, the industrial channels and dams where we once still caged our rivers. This is a map of re-meandering, former selves returned in curves, new and old choices ribboning the floodplain. Even the edges of the map cannot be contained, as if you are lifting a body of water with your two hands, everything spilling equally across your palms. I'm going to end on Pantone 493. All this time you were building a palette, every choice, every avoidance, the clothes you wore, what drew your eye, the colors and dreams. You were seeking something to soothe, and you were seeking something to sing. Colors at rest and colors in movement, the dance of your days accrued certain hues, patterns and parades, whether you noticed or not. Was there anything absent, something you were hungry for? A pink, an aliveness? Can you find even now something on that wavelength, a small piece of affinity? Thank you.
Thank you, Sierra. I forgot to ask or read your mineral answer, but I'm wondering if you could turn your entire body into a mineral, what would it be? And if you don't have an answer, I'll pretend the answer is moon rock. Okay, Sierra likes moon rock. Let's see. Okay. That was beautiful. I loved seeing all the different colors, and I hope the people who receive your postcards love them. Our next reader tonight is Oliver Brickman. Oliver is a writer, performer, and community organizer from Ann Arbor, Michigan. The winner of the 2015 Split This Rock Poetry Prize and a 5-time member of Seattle Slam Teams, Oliver has received grants and scholarships from the Lambda Literary Foundation, the Yiddish Book Center, For Culture, and more. a Boat Writers Fellow and a Ken Warfel Fellow for Poetry and Community. Oliver's poems and prose appear in Narrative, Adroit, Boat, the Indiana Review, Muzzle, and the anthologies Ghosts of Seattle Past, The Dead Animal Handbook, and Courage, Daring Poems for Gutsy Girls. Oliver holds an MFA from the University of Virginia and lives in Seattle, where they teach writing to youth and adults and parent a cat named Latka. Welcome, Oliver.
Thanks, Indira. Hi, everybody. I'm so excited to read with these wonderful humans who are my colleagues and my friends and writers that I really admire. And I'm so delighted to see all of you. I sometimes like to start a reading with a poem by somebody else, which is a tradition I learned from my friend Jay Thompson. And I couldn't decide whether I wanted to go with rage or thoughtfulness tonight. So I'm going to give you guys the choice. Who's in the mood for rage? Okay. And who's in the mood for thoughtfulness? I think thoughtfulness has it. All right. So naturally, we love you, Rage. Don't worry, there will be lots of rage in my poems. So you're going to get that. So naturally, thoughtfulness, we turn to Mary Oliver. This is called The Gardener. Have I lived enough? Have I loved enough? Have I considered right action enough? Have I come to any conclusion? Have I experienced happiness with sufficient gratitude? Have I endured loneliness with grace? I say this, or perhaps I'm just thinking it. Actually, I probably think too much. Then I step out into the garden, where the gardener, who is said to be a simple man, is tending his children, the roses. Love you, Mary. Love you, Mary Oliver. So, I don't know how you all are doing. What the fuck? This is a general feeling I have all the time now. And I think part of that feeling for me a lot of the last year has been just this increasing feeling that I've always known that technology and the apocalypse are inextricably linked. But I think lately I've been feeling this really incredible tension, especially like watching the ongoing genocide in Gaza, the genocide in the Congo, the genocide in Sudan, like all of those are unfolding on social media in this way that I kind of can't quite wrap my head around, and yet also, you know, it's one of the only places I feel like I'm getting information from. And so this was a poem that was really like born out of just trying to kind of wrap my head around how all of the current things that I'm finding challenging in the world, the griefs, the apocalypses, the big joys, the pleasures also are kind of intersecting with this very mechanized and sound-bited and like photo-captioned world. And it is called No One Wants the Carceral State, but Everyone Loves the Bachelorette. The bombs fall on Lebanon. The first Vietnamese bachelorette hands out red roses. She's here because she's looking for love and believes she will find it. An Asian writer says, "Free Palestine," a white Jew comments, "Well, I won't be reading her book." Rose petals fall, animated typhoons. Asheville is underwater. The bot on the other end of the text wants to be able to tell Tim Waltz, "I'm rooting for him." Diaspora is a thing you claim, or a thing you are, or a thing that people make you. At the writing conference, On the Mountain, they called it, another white poet told me not to use the word thing in my poems. Be more precise, he said. Though in the poem, thing describes that feeling. You know the one, where a man sees you as unintelligent, a vessel for his wishes, his faults, his own short languages. I'd love to tell you it's all connected, but that would be my own shorthand. White scrim to imply equality, that slight, I can see it now as such, made me so angry then. I did not know anger. Anger is having no homeland because my people were driven with spikes, with chains, with crucifix and ballot. Anger is having no homeland because my people decided to steal another's. Anger is watching The Bachelorette choose again to pin the rose on the man who cannot say he loves her. Netanyahu standing ovation. Alma Mater National Guard. Students pepper spray. Hands at my sides, zip ties for peace. Sheen of sweat on the water glass in the vice president's hand, most lethal. My queer beloved breaks up with me via text. Fighting force in the world wants me to know it's my fault. Is it still a boundary when it becomes a weapon? Still a border when it keeps moving? I'm asking because I can't tell anymore. What's scripted? What's poetry? Transformative justice or blame the edit. All will be revealed after this break, so I cradle my phone in my hand. And in my phone, another hand cradles a baby Capricorn. Mermaid fishtail wrapping palm's ridge, growing into deer body, deer hoof and antlers, softened by AI's kiss. I press the heart. Wonder into whose pockets the coltan chimes its silver. Free Congo, free Sudan, heart and beating, always beating. This thing in my chest, angry and looking for love. Thanks. I'm gonna drink a sip of water. And I'm just going to read you guys one more poem. This is funny to read this poem. I wanted to read it here because I'm with my teaching colleagues. And I've been trying for a long time to write some poems about what it's like to be in the classroom. And this is one of the first ones I've gotten to that I feel like it's getting at the feeling that I want it to get at. And I think especially it is such a strange time to be a trans non-binary teacher in a classroom and watch, the other, gender weird kids kind of both, struggle and also succeed and also just be kids and also feel like they can't just be kids because they're suddenly symbols of this much larger culture war. And so I've just been thinking about that a lot lately. And this is kind of a poem that came out of that. And it's got an epigraph from good old Roland Barthes. Wood does not wound or break down. It does not shatter. It wears out. It can last a long time. Live with the child. Alter little by little. A teacher's discourse. On the first day of poetry class, I tell my sixth graders I'm they them, and they call me Mix Ollie without my prompting. And without prompting, list their identities on their table tents. Words to capture movement, to signify bursts or little headstones, hearts in living bark, he/she, they, ze, it's, slash and slash, agender, aromantic, poly of all things, and she, they, but prefers they, doubt a little boat we climb into together, doubt a little storm we weather, pattern that returns. On my walk in the cemetery yesterday, light drizzle, a married couple's granite reads, wine and roses, thunder and lightning, trust Jesus. And I do trust in a God who gives us flowers and bolts and the power to name ourselves good Lord. Is there anything more stunning than a self-possessed sixth grader? The cis kids are all terrified of getting it wrong. What is it exactly? And I know what they mean. Clasping my bouquet of worksheets as their teacher, whose classroom I invade once a week, calls me she again, that word that does not mean me, and therefore cannot kill me, but also does not allow me to rest in peace. In the hallway after school, D, who's 13 and can't figure out what words they want to be called, corrals me with their questions and their sad eyes and begs, at least you've known what your gender was for at least a year, right? I have to stop and think. Sure, I say. There were years I was certain. Certainty is a drug. It can be grown and outgrown. Gender, I tell them, is like D&D. We're all just trying on cosplay, trying to roll high. What I want to say is, what good has ever come of knowing? The body wants to shape-shift like always. The body wants an open plain and a cherry Coke. The body wants green fractals of the madrone after mushrooms with Nico at Second Beach. The body could give a fuck about language, but the body lives with this mind in this world, so the body will scratch a day with Sharpie on this name tag. Fuck you very much. The day after B is suspended. Found in the bathroom, carving a lost map into their arms, I see them in the hall. They aren't allowed on campus, pain being contagious, but here they are, ragged, raccoon-smeared eyes and no name, stuffy clipped to a carabiner at their hip, their throat a well into which I toss my prompts, my keep that pencil moving, my 2 more minutes, see how many more metaphors you can get. Their well, a heart into which I stuff deep breaths, and here's how to make a safety plan like water. D. All these words I stand at the front of the room and tell you matter so much are just skates to keep the body moving across the ice. Wine and roses, bread and thunder, boy and not boy, touch and be touched. Whatever you thought you heard, hear this. You don't soften yourself into someone else's certainty. I'm saying it to you like I'm saying it to me. You are not pretending you are yourself. You are yourself, a child of God. You are allowed to play. Thank you.
Thank you, Ollie. I'm excited for more in the classroom inspired poems. That was so moving. Yeah. I also forgot to ask you which mineral you would be. You can take the
I did submit my mineral answer, which was I would like to be tourmaline, and there are a few reasons for this. One is it can be any color. One is it is a pyroelectric mineral, which means that it heats up and charges electricity when you squeeze it, which is so cool. Another one is that there's a really cool artist named Tourmaline, and I just feel like it would be kind of nice to be adjacent to them. And then the last one is that one time when I was in Maine, I drank water that was from a tourmaline filtered spring, and it was the best water I've ever had in my life, and I can't stop thinking about it.
way. Thank you. Okay. We have just one more reader tonight. Let's see. Okay. It's Aka Warren. Okay. I love Aka's bio, and you kind of have to picture as you're hearing. So, Aka, imagine it written in cursive, a water wave like palindrome. Aka, they, them, y'all, is a poet, educator, and practitioner of abolitionist values and care through daily actions and play. They facilitate creative interdependence through art and deep listening, since transitioning from, quote, able-bodied to no longer living that illusion. They live into the legacies of ferocity through tenderness, believe crying is a vital technology, and have profound reverence for rest. They bring authenticity, adaptability, and responsibility to unwinding our collective bodies into something more free. Because that is poetry. Poesis. Are y'all ready for this? Aka.
Candles. I'm not gonna lie, it helps. These microphones always make me look short. It's a lie. Alright, this first poem does not have a title, but it's inspired by being on public transportation. See something, say something. See something, say something. I think we need to reclaim observation and expression for poetry instead of surveillance. So the next time you hear it, see something, say something, I would like for you to relax your gaze, unclench your ass, because your jaw will follow, and then I would like you to name to yourself a texture, a color, an ancestor, or a smell. That's it. And the next two poems are derived from divinations from Alexis Pauline Gumb's book, Dub. I should have said before I started, thank you to my ancestors for using me poems. Okay. The ocean on our hearts, we live down here at the bottom of everything. Crying is a vital technology. Okay. And the bottom of everything is not an indication of status or worth. It's just your stratus in the place on or around Earth. We are not the bottom, not because we are worthless or worthless. We are at the bottom because that's where we started, or where we return, or go anew. The squiggle of spirit is a trajectory that is up to you. What is up to you is what you believe to be true. So when dread fills you and you feel that you're at the bottom, look around. Look around in a circle, and we'll be there. And we are there. Always and always. I hope this inspires you to cry sometime later very soon. It's good for you. Okay. This is also a different poem derived from Dub. The circle of people. There is a circle of people, and you are theirs. And there are people praying for you that you succeed, and I hope you answer. You are theirs, and you are there, which is to say that you are everywhere. You are located in space, in a place, and the places will change, as will you. As will you. As will you. Your will in your body lives in the area surrounding your belly button. Please hold. Please put your hand there, and I would like you to hold it. You will change. That circle of people that I believe, I trust and believe exists, they will change too. And that is how they come, and they they circle up and pray for you. That circle of people that pray for you, you are theirs, and you are there, which is to say, you are here, in a space place. You are being prayed for. Please answer. You are being prayed for. Please hold as you place your hand here. You are theirs. Please hold and answer. All right, this is my last. Some people have to go to bed, okay? I have been receiving a lot of support from Lucille Clifton lately. Please find her. So this poem is titled The Lucille Clifton Lifeboat. You might recognize some of these lines first. We have always loved each other. Go ahead and say it out loud. We have always loved each other. Say it out loud every day the rest of your life. Okay. We have always loved each other. What have you ever traveled towards more than your own safety? What has ever made risk worth taking? If you're anything like me, and here's where people usually list like all their struggles and identities and all things. If you're anything like me, scared sometimes, which means often, which means a lot of the time. If you are sick and tired, sick because you're tired, believed to be tired in an attempt to rest, looking to water and trees and all of that snow on Mount Tahoma now for something, answer for yourself. What have you ever traveled toward more than safety?
Thank you, Akka. I did tear up during your second poem, so what did you say? Crying, remind me. Let me find it. Crying is a vital technology, don't forget. And I did the thing where I forgot the mineral earlier, but Akka's mineral is McKinnowite. And yeah. Let's give another round of applause for Akka. That was the show. I want to thank Cam again and thank my colleagues Jen and Garfield. And thank all of the Wits writers again, too. Jen wants us to thank the baby. And thank yourselves for coming out tonight. I think we can hang out here a little bit if people want to mingle. Thank you for coming out.